Yo, what is up, ASM? I am Drakodan. This is going to be Boktai 2 Solo Boy Django for Game Boy Advance. This is quite a game, but it's also quite a long game, so I've got quite a lot of time to explain stuff that's going on. On the couch with me, I've got...
I'm banned.
Redacted. I'm Raiku. I have no idea about this game, but I'm hoping Draco's going to show.
Credentials. What's your credentials with this game, you guys?
I played it casually like 10 years ago.
Hell yeah.
I've only heard of it from you.
Very good. All right, so before we get anything started, I need to calibrate the solar sensor here. There's a nice little solar sensor in the cartridge here, so I need to make sure it's receiving no UV at all. Good. I'll get a nice reading as we go in. Also need to set my initial date. This does matter a lot for the run, actually. Go with a nice, like, 11:55 on August 1st.
2004, good year.
Yeah.
Good year.
And get in. And before we get started with the run as well, I'm also going to put in a password. And this is going to give me some extra starting inventory and a couple of extra stat points. So you kind of need to know your Japanese and be able to remember 24 characters in a row. But recently someone also published a script-like program that figured out all the possible password combinations that can give you the same result. So rather than memorize a detailed 24 combination, we can just do this to start the run now.
Love that.
Yeah. And now just go with the one character name, and we are pretty much ready to go. So time is when I confirm on this text box. Time for the start of the run, not the end of the run. We're not done that fast. So if you guys are ready, then we can get going in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so Boktai 2 Solo Boy Django. It's the second game in the series, so if you've never seen the series, I'm going to have to catch you up a little bit. This game plays like Castlevania meets Metal Gear Solid is the best way that I can describe it. It's like an action RPG. You are the titular Solo Boy, Django. You're part of the Solar Child lineage where you are a vampire hunter and you use your fabled gun, the Gun del Sol. It shoots sunlight balls. And we're going to go through the tutorial where Master Otenko here is going to tell us about how to move and do stuff and whatnot. So just going to go through, hopefully as fast as possible, and not get hit by spiders. These do have pseudo-random movement, but they prefer moving along certain paths. In this screen, it's a lot easier to get hit. Oh, runs over, I need to reset. Hopefully only get hit once. Yeah, there we go. All right, only one hit, that's not bad, that's not bad.
We take those.
Gonna shimmy along a wall here as well. I'm gonna immediately run into this nameless vampire who is going to immediately assault us and steal the solar gun. And Otenko's like, that's not a big deal, because only the Solar Child lineage can actually use the gun. It's useless in his hands. And then we're going to immediately get owned and lose the solar gun for the entirety of the game. Also, Raiko, your moment's coming up in just a minute here. Django screams first, because and then...
Yes, I love that sound effect.
GBA scream.
That's so good. I love that sound effect so much.
So now we are completely defenseless. We don't have any weapons, we don't have anything, and there's hordes of undead around. So this is a bit of a problem for Django, because you can't really take on the undead with your bare hands, but we're going to have to make do. So yeah, this is the main subplot of the game, is you've lost the solar gun, you're trying to get it back. You spend the entire game trying to get it back, and then you get it back just before the last dungeon, and then we don't use it because it's garbage. So that's a thing. And then we've got anime plot stuff going on. So the main plot of this game is that there's the family of the 4 immortals. We just saw there Black Dain and Red Durthor. They're trying to awaken this primordial being beneath the city of San Miguel, known only as the Ancestor Piece. And that's actually a problem because I don't use the DS screen to play. I'll make do with the DS screen for now until we've got it back. Oh, it's coming, I think. So we're going to go through a couple of tutorials first before really getting into anything. Yeah, I'm really unfamiliar with using the DS screen, actually. This is interesting. So we immediately walk into a trap. And all you have right now is fists. And if you try and hit the skeleton with your fist, Otenko's like, no, that's not going to work. Get a weapon at least. So we're going to get a weapon. And now I'm really going to have to eyeball because I need to hit a precise pixel spot here. Oh, I got it, nice. So, I'm not used to
Yeah, that's all clear. We can see.
As you can see, very narrow window.
Missed one of the, most precise strats in the game. That's cool.
$100 for blindfolded.
Yeah, where's Chili?
Okay, I'm just going to keep going. Gonna pick up the protector here and switch my attack speed and take off the protector. There is stuff going on, I promise.
I can hear it.
Thankfully, coming up here, there's like 3 minutes of just holding beat to skip dialogue, so you've got like 3 minutes or something.
I do just want to mention that this is a pretty surreal experience for me, not just because the screen's off and we can't see, but because I'm actually here commentating Draco's run. Draco is one of my oldest mates from like the speedrunning scene. Like in 2014, I met online, and then this is the first time we're meeting in person because he's come down from the UK to Australia. So shout out to Draco for making the travel.
That's Draco.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. I've felt extremely welcome since setting foot here, and I really love the city. I'm loving Australia so far. You guys are awesome. Okay, first tutorial over. We get to walk for a little bit, kill one more enemy, and then we walk into another... It's not really a tutorial, but it's a big exposition dump, so there's still a fair bit of time before we get into any real active gameplay.
Just try and film his screen just so we can get...
Yeah, I can...
There's still something there.
Oh, you can kind of actually see it. Yeah.
Yeah, just hop up.
So there's story and there's dialogue and such going on. It's just kind of going on about the doomsday prophecy again of like, oh, the ancestor piece will awaken and like devour the world. Like even the immortals are terrified of the ancestor piece because it's like an eternal being. It's not alive, it's not dead, it's not even an undead. It's just an eternal being that simply is and always has been. So even they are powerless before it, but they're like, well, this thing's our best shot at actually destroying the world, so let's awaken it. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? And yeah, there's just lots of dialogue going on, lots of fluent Japanese dialogue. So if you want to run this game efficiently, you kind of need to know some of that as well, actually.
I'm turning the light on. It's happening.
Sunscreen on.
I pre-applied, thankfully.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you could.
We're gonna try this computer.
Okay.
So I'm gonna unplug this.
Yep, that's fine.
Do you want to narrate? Or do you not know Japanese that fluently?
I will neither confirm or deny.
It's quite a mysterious game, really.
So then right-click, go to GBA mode, and yep, and then point filter, please, in the filter settings. In the scaling settings, sorry. Scaling and then
Oh,
point filter.
you need a timer as well, right?
Yes, I also need the Eon Timer program. There's downtime coming up where I can click stuff if needed.
How long do you need that?
Like an hour.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fine.
It should be...
The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the second PC, isn't it? Oh, Eon Timer's not installed on this one.
I love seeing C drive in my run.
Okay, so we're just doing some block pushing in the meantime. So yeah, so story-wise, like what's going on? We reach the city of San Miguel, and then Otenko tells us that, like, you know, the undead are awakening and stuff is kind of going off in the city. One of the main NPCs of the city has gone missing, the blacksmith known as Smith. And so we're off to the cathedral, which is like a big hub of undead activity right now.
Ain't no way.
Yo, what? Yeah. All right. So we're just at the cathedral trying to figure out what's going on and trying to find the blacksmith. And we can't really get inside because the front door is locked, so we need to find alternative methods. So we're just going to go through, solve a little puzzle in the graveyard here. You need to push a combination of gravestones. There is a dog in this graveyard as well, which, if aggroed, will absolutely destroy you, so do not do that. Crystals, in order to reveal the staircase. First of all, we need to take care of these skeletons first. So by doing a couple of back hits like that, you can then turn around when you can go into the new blind spot as they turn around and keep back hitting them, which is very nice. You just ideally don't want to get seen. It's not a huge deal if you get seen by enemies in this game. It's kind of the same sort of system as Metal Gear Solid, where you like get alerted and then enemies come towards you, but it's not a huge deal if that happens, and there's not really infinitely spawning enemies. If enemies did infinitely spawn like that, it would actually be very exploitable in this game, since there are certain areas where like you would want to be able to do that for EXP farming, but not so lucky. So a knock on the wall there to distract that ghoul and get it to step on the floor switch so we can get past. Gonna break a couple of blocks here now, making sure to not destroy this one that I need to push into a hole. And after a bit more block breaking, going to get a key so we can get deeper into the dungeon. And energy is looking a little low here. So energy is used to fuel all your enchanted attacks, and I'm pretty low here. The way that you charge energy is by using the sunlight. So this is like the main gimmick of the game in the series, using the sun. So I'm going to turn the lamp on here, and I'm going to need full sun exposure by having the panel pretty close to the light source at a direct angle, and I'm going to go into a skylight here and charge some energy. Around 90% is good for what I need. I'm going to keep the light on as well for going through the next couple of rooms as they're... Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Okay, I will make do for now. I'm going to open this door, and... Oh, it's not a blessed run though, unfortunately. So, coming upstairs, and I'm going to do a save and reset. There we go. Okay, so I'm saving and resetting because I'm going to do a RNG manipulation here. There is a weapon that I want to get off one of the enemies in the next trap, but this weapon... What am I doing with the minute value? I don't necessarily need to do that. Yeah, getting the short sword off the zombie in this next trap is a 1% chance, roughly. But by using a very precise set of motions and actions during the trap, I can manipulate the weapon to drop every time. It's also very easy to make a mistake here, though, so this is like 100% serious time for me. Hopefully, you just need to not get seen by the zombie. Okay, good. Good start. It should drop a weapon here. Good. Now it just needs to be the right weapon. Okay, that's very good. That is successful RNG manip. So that is going to be used for the next couple of dungeons once I'm able to... Well, I'm able to equip it right now, but it's not faster for me to equip it just yet. Like, weapons are level locked in this game, where you... Like, even if you could get access to a really powerful weapon early on, you need to be a high enough level to equip weapons, so it wouldn't help you until you are actually high enough for that. So now we have the spear, which the three main weapon types in this game are swords, hammers, and spears. Sword is going to be by far the most common combat weapon in this game, and hammers and spears are mostly going to be used for puzzle solving. Ah, oh, slightly mistimed that. That's fine. Just go back upstairs, and I'll just do this again. That's fine. You can walk over the trapdoors as they're closing, and I try to use the hammer there to set up the timing for going along the floor panel as it's closing, but it's not too bad. Right, turning the light back on here. I need to find the second crystal now as I'm going through one of the main rooms, and I'm going to need to check about 18 different spots in my peripheral vision as I'm moving through the room, trying to find a glint of light. Play along in the audience if you want. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did. I totally did.
Yeah, you barely have any time to check any of those spots individually, and you need to like be able to check all of them as you're moving through the room, ideally. You go through that room 3 times, and you need to have that crystal by the time you go through the 3rd time. So if you don't find it, like, by the 3rd visit, you need to just stay there until you physically see it. So having the sun on while outdoors is a very good way to just get some passive regen. You can see my energy is climbing. I'm also going to take a bit of a life refill. So because this is a Kojima title, it has some very strange mechanics, including, I mentioned when starting the run, I'm starting on a particular date. So, as well as using the power of the sun in this game, you also use the power of the moon. If you play on the date of a real-life full moon, like according to a real lunar calendar, and you are playing at nighttime, and then you have no sunlight out at some point, and you try to charge sunlight, you instead summon these moon bugs that you can use to get health refills, and you can do this infinitely. So as long as you are playing on the date of a full moon during night hours and you're outdoors, you have access to infinite health refills in this game, which is honestly the only thing that makes this game remotely runnable, because this is also a very dangerous game where by endgame, you are so underleveled with no defense stat investment, and you are wearing no body armor so that you can move faster. The result of that is that, like, when you're reaching mid-game and going into late game, most stuff kills you in 2 hits maximum. Like, in the final dungeon, a lot of stuff will straight up kill me in 1 hit, like, no questions asked. Which is a bit of a problem when that happens. So in the library here, we need to talk to a combination of staircases? Bookcases to unlock the gate here. It's always the same. There's no RNG in that puzzle, but you do need to talk to the hint panel in the upstairs room with the trapdoors in order for Django to know the solution for that puzzle. I'm gonna go upstairs, do some more block pushing here. Need to light both of these lamps, and there's a couple of different ways that you can solve this puzzle, but I believe this is the optimal solution for the puzzle. I have recently started working on a task of this game, and I did just get past this point, and I believe that that solution is fastest by like a few frames, but it's not a huge difference. You can also pick up an next key here and an item that I'm going to save for later. And I'm going to need to now use the spear and flame to get these torches as I'm passing. Okay. It's fine, this is what the DS screen is for. Just to be clear as well on like why I don't just play like this normally, like I am on the DS. Like, one, like the capture preview is a much bigger window, which is just easier to play on, but also the fact that I'm using the UV flashlight like this, there are UV reflections to take into account, and by having the lid tilted down, I can like worry a lot less about UV light reaching my face and the rest of my body, because it just reflects it back towards the table instead. So it's just an extra security measure that I like to use while playing. So I have all 4 crystals now to get into the basement. Just going to go back and place all of them in their appropriate spots. Going to need to go through the main room one more time with all the ghouls and get 2 more kills, which at this point will get me a level up. Oh, please. Okay, just take this slow and safe. Okay, so that is the last instance of combat before I reach the next boss fight. How dare it? Is it saying this run's boring? Like what? I'm trying.
I mean, it is set for nighttime.
It's the full moon.
Alright, so we're in. We're placing the crystals and all that. We'll place the next one upstairs here. This is the second text option I have. So green crystal. Yeah, there we go. Green. I know my colors. And then the blue crystal is just through this door here. So now we can actually get into the basement, and we can go and find the first immortal of the game. The sky-ruling immortal, White Denair. Fall through this trapdoor so we can get back slightly quicker. Why am I turning on my enchant? I don't want the enchant enabled for boss fight. Okay, so this is also one of the most technically difficult fights in the game. This is one of the most technical strats that will be done in the run. Gonna equip my weapon first, put in my strength points. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so the gimmick of this fight is that she turns into a moth, and I need to light the torch in the center to get her to come down and be hittable. But it's very hard to hit all 4 torches in one hit. You need a very central thrust, which is, it's not pixel perfect, but it's not far off either. Like, that was a miss. But now going to line up here. and hopefully keep her stun locked for the rest of the fight. And yeah, there's a lot of menuing in this fight as well. And I have just enough energy if I perform this perfectly to get through the entire fight and end on 0 energy. Okay, so I missed the first hit, but overall that was a very good fight. Like, that can go a lot worse, and that's a lot faster than the previous method that we had to do the fight, where she actually actively flies around and has longer cycles and is dropping larvae that harass you, and there are tons of sprite objects that cause the game to lag as well, so it's pretty considerable to cut down the length of that fight by being able to use that strat. So we finally discover the blacksmith, and he's down here trying to figure out why this seal has been broken. Like, the immortal White Denair is released because this seal is broken. So there's 4 seals around the different quadrants of the city in the different dungeons that are sealing in like each of the immortals. And now they're breaking free, and they're trying to, you know, come out and cause doomsday stuff, as mentioned before. And Nero, nice little cat here, is trying to help us get down here and figure out what was going on. So, one of the nice little gimmicks of this game, you know, you're a vampire hunter, vampires are immortal. You saw after Denair got defeated there, we put her in the coffin, but that doesn't kill vampires. In order to actually get rid of them for good, you need to physically drag the coffin all the way back to town and purify it in the pile driver. So you have these coffin dragon segments where I need to physically drag this all the way back to town. And we use power nuts to get 30 seconds of increased movement speed with the coffin at a time. I need to go and solve a little puzzle with the coffin first before I can get outside. Need to hold down all 3 of these buttons in order to access the central spot. And this screen is going to have a key in order for us to get outside. It also, those chests at the top there, have some trash weapons which you can use when you get back to town to do a little tutorial segment which teaches you how to forge weapons. That used to be the previous route for the game, where the short sword that I got from the manipulation in the second trap, we used to forge that weapon. But that was honestly terrible because the forge is not guaranteed. Like, you can either get the weapon that you already have or the short sword, and it's a 21% chance to get the short sword. So it used to be that, like, no matter how perfectly you played up to this point, you would reach the forge and then you just had a 79% chance to reset because you didn't get the short sword on the first attempt, and doing a second forge costs in the region of like a minute. So the fact that we do this manipulation now, like, the manip is faster and it is more consistent. So it was like a dream strat for making runs of this game a little more reasonable and accessible. So we finally get the coffin back to town, and Otenko is going to now summon the pile driver. This is how we purify immortals. And this is where having access to max sunlight is very important. So the mechanics in this game are really not tuned for having max sunlight. Like, if you play this game organically, go outdoors, on a very clear, strong sunny day, you will get like half sun at max, like within reason. Like, you can get like 4, maybe 5 bars of sunlight on a very strong, clear day, but the game is not tuned for having like 10 sun. And so segments like these purifications, where your DPS is based on sun exposure, you burn through the immortals extremely quickly. Just avoid damage there, and then boss is going to be dead in a couple of seconds. Yeah, not too bad. So I don't know what my timer is at right now. Okay, this is still going to be a 24 purification. That's not too bad. Like, world record has a 24 purify, and I've been saying for ages that, like, with the new RNG manip strat that we do in the cathedral to get the short sword, I was like, oh, now we're never ever going to see a 23 split on purify again, which kind of sucks. And my best ever pace is like 24:01, so it's like, it might happen now at some point. It's kind of unreal how the optimization ceiling has just been increasing and increasing in this game. So this is Lita, the Solar Maiden, and she's like somehow filled in the giant chasm where the solar tree used to be, and she's like replanted the solar tree, which will be growing like as the game progresses. You can, if you play this game casually and play for like a long time, and just give it like millions of souls, then it fully regrows eventually. That is a factor in doing the 100% run, which is like a 12-hour run. Sure, yeah. Like, Coalescence, who previously had the any percent world record, is an absolute crazy person for doing 100% in this game. Like, it's one of those runs where I was like, that is completely unreasonable to do. I would never do 100%. But yeah, Koa is insane. Honestly, the guys in the Boktai community in general have just been absolute stars and completely enabled me to be able to run this game in any serious capacity, because this is a run which I had aspirations to do for quite a few years, but I was frankly too intimidated to do because it used to be an extremely punishing run. One of the factors of running this game is that when you die, you need to spend currency to continue, and you don't really have currency to spare because economy management is very tight. And that is less of a concern now that we do the RNG manip route. The fact that I did the RNG manip, which involved saving and resetting the clock, your bank balance actually gains interest for each day that you play. And so that made things a lot more lenient, but it used to be for the any percent route, you basically couldn't die, otherwise you wouldn't be able to afford stuff. Speaking of not being able to die, this trap here, there's like 7 bats that are going to come towards me. You die in 2 hits on this trap from full health. And you can see how many enemies there are flying around, and they're like pseudo-random, and like, yeah, that can be really bad news. And like, this is still early in the game. I'm in the 2nd dungeon, and I'm saying, oh yeah, you die in 2 hits on this trap. So like, this used to be an extremely difficult run to do. Also, that was a very nice random drop there. Got a power nut. So enemies in this game all can drop items, and they have 2 separate drop tables. They can drop common items or rare items. The common items are about 11%, and the rare items are like 1%, such as the short sword that I got off the zombie. So that power nut off one of those slimes was a 11% drop. And that's pretty favorable, because it's going to enable me to skip a fixed power nut that's in a bit of a more unfavorable position in a future room. Just progress here. This is Kid. He's like a he's the armor shop owner in the town, and he's looking for like treasures and artifacts in this incredibly dangerous dungeon where even we've like nearly died getting this far, so I don't know what he's doing here, but whatever. I'm going to enable the light again, but I'm not going to use it yet because I need to go back through this room, and there is solar wind in this room. So if you have sunlight enabled in this room, the wind pushes you around, and these cliffs are just sheer cliffs where there is no safety mechanic. If you brush against the cliff, you fall off and you die instantly. So again, like, it used to be that like you absolutely could not have that happen in any capacity. It's like, well, all right, I died. I might not be able to finish the run now, but it's a lot more lenient these days. So since I got the random power nut, I can ignore the one that's inside the ice block at the top of the room here. I can just press. Going to use my new element here, Frost, to drop this block and refill my energy before I go into the next trap. So this is a bit of a trap gauntlet. I'm going to do 3 fights in a row. The first one is pretty trivial. The third one is awful, but I'm going to concentrate here a little. Eight, 9, 10, 11. Move. 1, 2, 3. Turn off my enchant for the next room, which is some more yellow slimes. I would like one more power nut drop here, but like there's 4 enemies that can drop it, and it's like 11%. So you have like less than a 50% chance to see a power nut in this trap. Couple more chances. No, not really. Okay, so this trap is awful. These clay golems, they're supposed to behave consistently when you knock on the wall at the same time, but they just don't. And you need to bait them into rolling into each other so they get stunned. Of course I have the worst behavior from them, you... I hate this trap so much. This is the worst, because now they're going to kill each other, and I'm not going to get the EXP for these kills. I hate this game, I hate this game, I hate this game. Yeah,
Man, this seems familiar.
I didn't get a level up, which means I didn't get all the kills for those golems. This is what I mean, like, that's supposed to be consistent, but it's just not, and it's... it's the worst. Alright, so I am no longer on the EXP route that I'm supposed to be on, and I need to kind of improvise a bit later, and I know from experience that fixing that deficit is going to somehow end up costing me like 20 seconds. Also, this is Django's edgy brother, Sabata. And that's not a joke, like, this is Django's actual brother, where Django is the solar child and Sabata is the lunar child, so he uses the power of the moon instead of the power of the sun. And I'm salty, I'm really salty now. I hate that trap so much. I'm gonna refill my life and energy when I get outside. I need to not get hit by a vampire bat. I have enough life to survive getting hit by the vampire bat, but I'm gonna refill life and energy anyway. Do a nice little hybrid refill here. Oh yeah. Nice little tech using the light there. Gonna use a power nut here after putting in my 3 points. I'm supposed to have 6 points, but I only have 3 stat points here. And yeah, there's a lot of block pushing, puzzle solving stuff in this game. So you gotta push these blocks onto their respective floor panels, and it's like, you know, oh, that's pretty easy, like it's just 2, and it's a pretty simple solution, so nice that they're giving you like a nice little easy puzzle to do in that vein. Well, hold that thought. Also in our cloud element, which we can use to push floating blocks like that and destroy stationary floor blocks, which is pretty nice. Not gonna destroy this one though, we need it to get outside. And this is the room that we met Kid in, but now that we have cloud, we can go out here and destroy this block. I'm gonna go outdoors, and I'm actually going to improvise here. Because I need to make up the EXP from... Alright, whatever. So that's a bit of a time loss, but yeah, I need to make up the EXP deficit that I currently have, and hopefully that is enough. We'll see later on. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the light for now that I'm back indoors. I'm going to need to take a bit of a longer charge later. Yeah, I'm going to need to think a little on how I'm going to address my energy now, because I had to take some extra hits there. But yeah, so the 2-color puzzle was pretty reasonable, but now you've got a 4-color puzzle, so yeah. There's, like I say, this game has a lot of puzzles in this vein. Thankfully, these puzzles are not random, but there is a lot of memorization for puzzle combinations. Get through here, fine. Oh, please. Okay, turn the light back on. Gonna need it for the next room where I'm gonna kill a couple of mummies, and I'm gonna stop in the room following to take a bit of a recharge. Okay, that's fine. Gonna recharge a bit of energy here. Because I need... how much? 44. Yeah, that's enough. I need 40 energy to get outdoors here, because I'm gonna need to kill this golem. And I need 10 energy with flame to hit the mummy, to set it on fire and cause it to run into that torch over there. And now I'm going to passively regen most of my energy while I'm outdoors here. I'm also going to try and use staircases to avoid these slimes a bit, and I'm also going to do one of those corner cuts on slime. Okay, get damage boosted backwards, that's very good. Didn't run into the slime accidentally. Going to take a hybrid refill before I go back indoors here. I'm supposed to be on full energy, but I can refill the last little squirt on the solar station here. It's fine. You do kind of need to be on like max energy. I also do need to put in the stat points that I now have. So we're going to come into another mini boss here, the axe. And I'm going to start with one unenchanted hit and then switch to enchanted hits. I also need to get in a specific position here. That's bad RNG to see that attack. You just can't really help that, but... okay, that's fine though. I'm going to now use a solar fruit to restore some energy here, because I'm going to need to spend a lot of energy on cloud hits to kill a bunch of golems as I'm going back through the main room. Also just got the dynamite enchant. Django blows himself up, and we got dynamite, which isn't going to be used for a while, but is very important later on in the run. And we can also get a random blue card, so I'm not going to be able to check what that card is for a while in the inventory without losing time, but there's a 4% chance for that to be a very favorable card, which I can use to effectively skip a boss in the last dungeon. But it's only a 4% chance for it to be the card that I need. It's one of the tarot cards where like you have like the entire tarot deck, and if I have the tower, I can use that to skip a fight in the final dungeon. Grab a hidden chest here. So now we come into one of the main RNG sources of the run. This is the desert, and I need to visit like 8 different screens to find 3 different stone tablets so I can reveal the dungeon in the center. Okay, that's 1. I ideally want them to be on the first 3 screens, but this is completely random. Okay, so that's not in the second spot. Switch to frost for the next screen because I need to extinguish a flame. Okay, that's 2. Not 3. It kind of doesn't matter how quickly you find the first 2, because you're always throttled by where the third one is. Like, this is not great, but as long as it's not in the worst spot, then it's not, like, a disaster. But Now it's one of the 2 worst spots. It's the worst spot. Yay! So yeah, like I say, even if I had like the first 2 in the best 2 spots, it doesn't matter if I have to make the full circuit. So that's just really bad RNG, unfortunately. That just happens a lot. And yeah, like if you are on an exceptional paced run, that can happen, and it's like, yay, now I just lost 20 seconds. Nice, for no reason. I forget if my PB has the worst RNG. I think it has the 2nd worst RNG, but it's like, whatever. Take a little refill before I go in here. Turn the light off again, and I'm going to need to get this power nut that's hidden in the corner here. I'm going to need to light these torches in a specific order down here to reveal the staircase to go downstairs. I'm going to switch to Cloud and kill the Golem as I'm going through the next room, and then hopefully get in the right position to get a double kill on the mummies as they're coming to see what's happening. Nice. Now I've got to do 4 puzzles in a row. With my energy here, I'm going to run out of energy right after I solve this puzzle, but there's a solar station in the next room for me to refill, which is very convenient. Cloud and Frost, solve that puzzle. Gonna need Flame and Cloud for the next puzzle. Gonna need to switch to Flame first. And refill on the solar station here, as mentioned. Gonna use my speed nut here, not a power nut. This gives me 30 seconds of movement at the highest movement speed the game has to offer, which unfortunately you never reach in the any percent run. You reach the 2nd highest movement speed, but not the actual highest. And now this next floor puzzle is switch the colors by stepping on them, make everything the same color. Don't make any mistakes here, or you need to actually logic out the solution if you make a mistake. Thankfully, if you just know the solution and don't make a movement mistake, it's pretty simple. But if you do make a movement mistake, it's like, oh god, what do I need to do to fix this now? And then if you panic and just start moving around randomly, you mess up the rest of the puzzle. So it's like, yeah, it's important to understand the underlying logic of how that puzzle works. And then just using the wind to get this last one. And we're going to come into the 2nd boss, which is also going to be the 2nd GBA scream of the run, to Raiko's delight.
Bless up.
How are you guys liking the run so far?
It's brilliant.
This is chill.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! That is the highest compliment for a marathon run. Honestly, like comfy is the ultimate compliment. Thank you. Unfortunately, this fight is anything but comfy. This is a massive source of anxiety for me because this is supposed to be the same every time, but I'm convinced that getting a 2 cycle is subject to some RNG also.
I love this guy. Seriously, this guy's great.
So yeah, this is supposed to be the same every time, but I'm convinced that the AI that decides number of cycles is not fully consistent, and if it is subject to RNG, we are screwed because RNG is progressing every frame during this fight. So, I don't know, but it's just not consistent, dude. The TLDR is like, whether I get a 3rd cycle at the end of the fight is strongly based on his remaining health, but even if I play the fight identically, I can get different results. Okay, so 1, 2, need to get in position here so that he goes inside the black hole. Get 5 big hits and then 2 small hits as he's coming out. I do need, like I say, I'm controlling his health very precisely as this fight goes on. Gonna get 3 more hits for 6 as he comes up here. Then I need to do some baiting, and I'm gonna get him to, again, start the next weaken phase inside the black hole. And now, if the game cooperates, I will finish the fight in this cycle. Yes, alright.
Nice.
Yeah, clap for RNG.
That's probably the boss fight I've seen the
And
most.
also get hyped for the best part of any run where Django gets glumped. There you go. So we're going to spend the next part of the run without our solar powers. Yeah, Django gets glumped there. You blow off that guy's hat and they get a good look at his face for the first time and they realize, oh, it's our father. Like the original Solar Child, or like Solar Warrior from the previous game, Red Ringo, who was like ultimately defeated by the previous villain of the first game. And now he's a vampire himself, and now he's bitten Django, and now you are turning into a vampire. So now Sabata needs to drag the coffin back to town himself, do the purification to stop Django from completely becoming a vampire. You are semi-successful, that's how I'll put it. You are semi-successful in stopping Django from turning into a vampire. Gonna use a couple of power nuts, as is the tradition, to get through here pretty quickly. So I'm gonna take a specific movement route through the desert in order to abuse the way that screen transitions in this place do not behave the same way as everywhere else in the game. I'm gonna take 7 steps here. Transition to the left. And now I'm gonna be able to screen transition on the very corners of the grid to be able to move a little faster. Gonna use my second power nut, and now this power nut should last all the way back to town. Like, ideally, I should get back to town when I have like 1 second left on this buff, if everything is normal. The movement should always be the same, but the RNG, when you get back onto the last screen, the bats can be in random positions along the wall, and if they are close enough, they will aggro and start coming towards you, and they can be surprisingly awkward for Sabata to deal with, because all you have is the gun Del Hell, the dart gun, and surprisingly, a gun that has only 8 directional fire is not very good against flying enemies that move around erratically, believe it or not. So I'm just going to hope that I'm not going to get hit by a bat here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they're nowhere near me. That's fine. So this buff should like run out like right as I get onto the town screen. Perfectly timed, dude. So now we have to do the purification, and we need to purify Django himself. Sabata's going to need to do the task, but as Sabata is the Lunar Child, uses the power of darkness, Sabata doesn't really deal with the sunlight very well, and takes constant damage when exposed to sunlight. So this purification is effectively a damage race to purify Django before Sabata dies. I mean, if you do it normally, you will always win it, but for a casual play like this is like, oh, gotta play good and not make mistakes, because you can die as Sabata during this purification just from taking too long. So I'm going to activate 2 there and activate the next 2 as the purification starts. Going to manipulate Django to move a specific way and then knock him back into the coffin when he escapes. Now he's going to go to one of the generators. I just need to react to where he goes. Knock him back in, and that will be the end of the purification just now. Alright, I'm going to take this opportunity to... Where's the mouse? I need Eon Timer back soon. Not soon, but... Oh, there's the mouse. Okay. This is also probably going to freeze the 3DS capture when Eon Timer opens, because it's like a Java applet. We'll see. Like, I might need... It's possible that I'll need to relaunch the... No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. So I'm just going to close these ones, so I just have this and this. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Okay, we're good for the scariest part of the run when I actually reach the RNG manipulator, which is like the most critical part of the run to get right. But yeah, so we purified Django. It kind of sort of worked, but Django has lost access to all of his solar powers, and it's been replaced with a few vampire powers. So I'm going to allocate my stat points to get myself up to 25 agility, which is going to put me up to even higher movement speed, take off all of my solar powers, which are useless for now. Agility, good. Going to refill my energy here, and now Django also takes direct damage when exposed to the sunlight, so you need to really minimize exposure to sunlight in this part of the run. I'm keeping the light on here because I actually need to do a pretty extended EXP grind here. I also need to buy a coffin. This is relevant for later. It's not going to be relevant quite yet. Oh, my money's terrible. Okay, if my money is that bad, I think I'm actually going to take a safety save before Cheyenne, because it's actually going to be a pretty big deal if I start taking accidental deaths. But yeah, I'm going to farm EXP for a couple of minutes, so if there are any messages you would like to jump in with, now is a great time.
Alrighty, we have $40 from Gray and Cavette, a donation to support a great cause in Game On Cancer, and to wish Drakodan all the best on his Boktai 2 run. A wise mutual friend once said, "Use your better judgment and don't die." With love from Gray and Cavette. We also have $15 from Mega Master X. The sun is in your hands. Good luck, Draco. The vampires are going to have to try harder to keep you down.
Wow, all the lads, OGs turning out. Thank you guys very much. Okay, I am at 14. I'm basically looking at my energy bar at this point to know what kill count I'm on. So this EXP grind is pretty necessary because, as I mentioned earlier, weapons in this game are level locked. And at this point, I am very under-leveled. And the next weapon that I'm going to need to use, I need to be level 17 to use it, and I want to be able to use it for the next major storyline boss, Red Durthor. I cannot reach that point without getting a couple of levels here, and this is by far the fastest source of EXP that I have right now. So when my energy bar is empty, that's going to be 30 kills. I'm going to take a refill and then get 6 more and then go on. So on the EXP route, which I've largely corrected at this point, you get 36 kills here and then progress. And then if everything is done correctly, you will get to level 17 on the last planned enemy before Durthor. I need that. Okay, good. The sun turned off before our screen transition. So the sun meter always takes like a second to update. But if you transition between screens, it will get delayed by like an extra couple of seconds before it actually updates again. Which is like, just like, you really don't want to deal with that when you're taking sunlight damage as Black Django. Okay, I need hammer. So my kill count should be correct here. Gonna get one more kill in this dark route as we're passing by. Oh, so I could have died right there because the yellow slimes deal massive damage to Black Django. They, like, Red Django shrugs them off easily, but Black Django takes upwards of 80 damage from yellow slimes for some reason. Like, thanks, Kojima. I don't think Kojima was directly responsible for a lot of the development in this game, the second game, but...
I will blame him, though.
Yeah, that's fair, that's fair, that's fair. All right. So I'm going to grab a sunscreen here, just like in real life. And I'm going to use that later. And by later, I mean against the final boss. We don't see that for like another hour, pretty much. So, yeah. Black Django has transformation powers. You can transform into a couple of animal forms. We've got mouse and bat, and the main one's going to be used. You also have a wolf transform, which sucks and has no place in the run. It's a combat power, which only works if you hit enemies directly from behind. Like, if you hit them from an angle from behind, you just get hit by them. Like, it's absolutely terrible. And it's really slow even when you get it to work. I'm going to go around the back of the zombie. And I'm going to take a health refill before going on here. Alright, so Dark City can be pretty threatening. Like I say, I'm pretty underleveled, underpowered at this point. And I'm wearing no armor with no defensive stats. And there are some enemies that I'm going to want to kill here. And mini-bosses to deal with, which already at this point in the game, stuff starts becoming very threatening. I'm going to kill a couple of green slimes here. Should have gone a little further. There you go. There's the plan. 6 hits. And you got the main villain here, Black Dain, who's like tempting you by explaining how your vampire powers work and how you should just like really commit to using these vampire powers and like, yo, don't even try and get your soul powers back. What are you doing? They suck. Vampire powers are all you need. You can use mouse. So this is a weight-sensitive elevator that takes you to different elevations based on how much you weigh. So mouse takes you to this floor. Knock the green slime out of the way. Black Django can use the same melee weapons as Red Django, but he attacks a lot faster, and his attacks cause knockback. So it's very useful for being able to just knock enemies off corners and like out the way like that. You need Bat here to go across a water puddle. Like, you are a vampire, you can't stand contact with water, so you just fly over it. Going to get a key in this room and not hit the mummy here. No, thank you. Gonna loop back around now and come through the same room that we were before. And going to kill a couple more green slimes and open a door and progress. I'm then gonna kill 2 mummies, which this can go horribly wrong, but it is safe if you respect it. And these are worth a massive amount of EXP each, so it's absolutely worth it. I should get a level up on this kill. If the EXP route is correct, I should get a level up here. I hate these guys so much. So like I say, you like die in one hit really easily by this point in the game with a lot of damage sources. I do not know how I ended up not hitting both of the enemies there so that I could actually leave in a timely fashion. That's not great. I still have some money, but I am 100% going to take a safety save before Cheyenne now. I'm also going to... I know that my energy is correct, but I'm also going to just get a refill here. Just to be super safe. There are a few skylights that you can use through the dungeon in order to refill health, so I'm not massively threatened in that regard. Oof, close. You always dodge that pretty closely. Push this block, go back through. Gonna fly over this gap. You can shimmy along the wall, but it's slightly faster to just fly across with Bat. I'm gonna ignore that chest. Like, one of the nice things about Bat is it has, like, you know, sonar echolocation, so you can see invisible items effectively. Like, there are a lot of hidden treasure chests in this game, which you can interact with them if you just know that they're there. But the way that you're supposed to know that they are there is that the Bat form can detect them. Okay, so I'm coming up on what is probably the most creative strat in the run here. I'm going to kill another pack of those mummies, and I'm going to use the sunlight to assist with it. So the undead will die in direct contact to sunlight, but the damage is based on the amount of sun exposure. If I hit them with a full blast of 10, it will kill them, but anything up to and including a 9 will damage them and soften them so that I can get a faster kill. So I'm going to bait them into the skylight. Play that safe and get a health refill and an energy refill before leaving. I'm just treating Cheyenne with maximal respect here. Turn the light off for now. Yeah, this is by far one of the most threatening fights in the run that I'm about to come up to here. So push one more block, fly over a couple more gaps. I believe... Yeah, save flags are based on, like, room entry, so I may as well save as soon as I enter the next room. And then I can, like, refill my energy, do my level up, whatever. Because it doesn't matter if I do that and then save, it won't save that I've done that stuff. So I'm going to take a safety save here, this screen. Normally I wouldn't do this, but like I say, my money is not great right now. And I'm going to need to spend most of it, like, right here after this fight. Gonna put in my... Oh, back here. Yep. Alright, so this is Cheyenne. He kills you extremely quickly if this fight goes wrong. But if it goes correctly, I'm going to kill him extremely quickly, hopefully with a lockdown strat that's going to force him to move in a pretty strange way, but this is very difficult. Oh, I can't believe I made that mistake. And now he is... Yeah, this... Like I say, this is a extremely dangerous fight. That's why I took a safety save. As long as it's any nighttime hour, this will be fine. I absolutely hate this fight. I almost got the AI manip there first try as well, but then I just didn't do enough damage to cause a knockback when he was on a specific specific part of the tile that he was walking on. We'll try this again. And once he starts becoming erratic, his AI is a lot harder to control, and then you just die super quickly when you are anywhere close to him. You dickhead! I absolutely hate that fight. Like, that was perfect and I still almost died. What is this fight? I absolutely hate it. Alright. I'm alive, and now Cheyenne realizes, oh, you're not a mindless zombie. Sorry about that. And so now we're friends. Now he's going to go back to town and open the weapon shop. I'm going to go back to town, buy a couple of weapons, and do a bit of forging. And this is the most critical part of the route to get right. This is the major RNG manipulation of the route, the katana manip. So I have an external timer open here, Eon Timer, which people normally use for Pokemon RNG manip goodness. Because I'm going to need to forge a weapon in such a way... I don't want the sunlight on here. I'm going to die. There we go. Yeah. I need to forge a weapon so that I can get a rare rank weapon, which TLDR is normally also roughly a 1% chance to craft this weapon. And the manip for it is based on hitting a frame window from power on / soft reset. So I'm going to do one forge to make my material weapons. Then I'm going to forge the second weapon with a precise RNG manip. Okay, I am actually going to sell that because I'm going to need some extra funds later. Need to equip this and redo my inventory so that stuff is in specific slots. need to talk to this panel up here to enable forging, because like the game just holds your hand in that one regard. Do one forge here with a couple of trash weapons. Like, who cares? I just need to make a material weapon here. So the speed of the cursor here is dependent on your sun exposure, and then you want to be as close to the center as possible to increase the quality of your weapons. The quality really doesn't matter for this first forge, so it's like, this is fixed length, you can't speed it up, so you may as well just try and play the minigame well. And then after this, I'm going to need to save and reset in the smith shop, and I'm going to need to do the RNG manipulation. And this is... yeah, this is the most critical part of the run to try and get first try. This is an 8-frame window if I execute it correctly. If I execute the Forge game perfectly and get 15 great hits, which are 3-frame windows each, I'll extend the frame window from 8 to 12, but you never want to rely on that. Okay.
Yo, GL.
Okay, the timer is now running. I have like 30 seconds to get back into the Forge minigame. Mouse cursor. I hate it when streamers do that, so I'm not going to be that guy. Okay, so if I've timed that correctly, then 15 hits here will cause me to get not the white weapon that was previewed, but a black sword that also causes the screen to flash. And that is the katana. That's the weapon that I want. Okay, so this isn't a 12-frame window anymore, but like I say, you never want to rely on having the 12-frame window, and it extends the frame window, so it only helps if you were late on the timing, not if you were early on the timing. So here's a moment of truth. If we get a screen flash and a black weapon, that's a successful manip. If I missed it, I need to go again. Damn it. All right. Please don't be early this time. All right, praying. This is a big deal to get this weapon, so it's like I can't just be like, oh, whatever, I'll make do without. Like it's a pretty big deal to get this weapon. There we go.
Well done.
All right, I'm really disappointed that I didn't get that first try, but I'm also very glad that I didn't get stuck here and be like, oh no, it's happening. Oh, go away, bat. Don't get... All right. And I got the level up at the right time as well. That's the last enemy that I planned to fight for Durathror, so the EXP route is completely correct as well. After I needed to make an on-the-spot correction. So,
nice.
I'm good! I missed the minute, but I'm really good! Oh my god, this game is so hard. Alright. So this is go mode for going straight to the next boss, Red Durathror now. Gonna open this door, go in. Haven't equipped the weapon yet. Like, I'm at the right level to use the weapon, but I'm going to wait until we're actually inside the fight. It's a little more optimal to be able to consolidate a bit of menuing that I need to do. And it's a bit more of an opportune moment to do the menuing itself. Use bat and mouse here to go across a couple of gaps and through a few holes. Little reroute that recently was put into the game is to make sure that you get this block here. Previously we ignored this, but it's going to be used for a backtrack later, which is slightly better. than the previous route. Also, nice little miss on the acid spit. Refill here and get my health, please. Yep. So I'm going to wait until I get into the fight here to do the menuing to put on my weapon and put in my stat points, because I need to be able to see exactly where she appears. She's going to be like inside this plant bulb, and there's going to be a few tentacles around the area as well, so I need to be able to react quickly to where it spawns. So waiting to do the menuing when I like see that objects are starting to spawn is just a good way for me to be able to like remove reaction time once I get out of the menu. I can just go immediately to where I need. I'm going to need to start the fight by getting 10 very quick hits on the bulb with the katana, which will end the first phase immediately before she's able to hopefully start hitting me. That's extremely favorable. She's right in front of me. So I'm going to just get into a safe spot first. Perfect phase 1. Now I'm going to use Bat to be able to see which is the true bulb here. You get like groups of 5 appearing here, and she's inside one of them. You can see which one it is without using Bat, which I think I'll actually do for the 3rd cycle, because the true bulb vibrates slightly. So just like the light spot minigame in the Cathedral, this is a minigame. See if you can tell which bulb is the real one. There it is. Yeah, did you see the vibration? It's pretty obvious. And you don't have very much time to get that either. That's not good. Okay. I am not sure how I wasn't in range to get that hit, but at least I didn't get hit. You don't die in one hit in this fight, but you really don't want to take a hit if you don't need to. And now she is 1 hit from death. Okay. Okay, we're into the second half of the run, at least. Into the second half. And the run is going to start speeding up dramatically from this point onwards. Going to drag this coffin back to... Well, alright, I'm lying. I'm going to drag this coffin through the next set of puzzles, but I'm not going to drag it back to town. The entire reason that we get this coffin, this is the living coffin elephant. And it is a coffin that you can use in your vampire form. Like, you can sleep inside coffins, and with this coffin, you can move around while inside it and attack while inside it. The coffin can also move around on its own. And so there is going to be a nice little application of save and reset strats to be able to save some time. Also going to wait for the coffin to despawn, where it will go to the next room since the puzzle is completed. Like, puzzle rooms in this game, like, effectively there's a flag that states whether a puzzle is completed or not completed, and the room can be in 2 different states. And if the puzzle in that room is completed, the coffin, when it despawns, will go to the next room rather than respawn at the start of the current room. Gonna do a bit of solving here and save a little bit of time by, once this puzzle is completed, I can walk out after walking onto the bottom staircase tile. That is actually the flag for the completed state, rather than leaving the room. Fine. I should still have enough time to get past this before it moves away. Yep, okay. So I'm going to move onto the staircase here and then use a warp leaf to leave. Going to go back to the pile driver screen where we're going to do the purification. I have energy to get back to the pile driver. Good. Again, don't get hit by the yellow slimes. They really hurt Black Django in particular. Going to leave the screen here and do a save and reset. So, like I say, the elephant coffin can move under its own power, and the effect of this is that if you just leave the coffin behind, like who cares, just somewhere in the middle of the dungeon, and you save and reset the game and set the clock forward by an arbitrary amount, we just use like you know, moving it by a month and using the full moon dates, the coffin will walk back to town on its own. So you get to completely cut out the backtracks where you're just dragging the coffin through the dungeons and avoiding enemies and such. You just do a save and reset. You get the coffin to teleport, and every time you reset the clock like this, you get a bunch of interest on your bank balance as well. So my money starting out, and my money right now is like really low, but there's another save and reset that I'm going to do before I need to spend money, and that will hopefully give me a healthy amount to use. So you do need sunlight to be able to start a purification. And now Black Django is going to purify the Immortal, except he's going to get exposed to sunlight and he's going to collapse himself. And now there's going to be nice anime cutscene moment of like using, you know, like power of self-belief and friendship and all that, you know, bollocks to get back to his original solar form. And we're now going to have free access between the two forms. We're going to gain transform magic, so you can freely switch between the solar boy, red Django, and the dark boy, black Django. And going to put on a couple of solar powers to do this purification, put in strength points that I have as well. This is the first purification that's actually legitimately dangerous. Like, you will die in a few hits in this purification, and this is the first one where, like, she seriously fights back in this purification. I'm trying... Hello? Hello? Why can't I... Oh, I need to just... Sorry, I'm bad. Okay. Refill my energy. I play shmups, by the way, and I got hit by that.
Yeah, didn't you run Genocide in Undertale?
Yeah, yeah. Like, this is way harder than Sans. Alright, whatever. Still, like I say, the purifications in this game are really not tuned for having max sunlight, so even though they get stronger, there's more health to chew through, you still get through these pretty quickly, even by endgame, with max sunlight. So now, back to Solar Boy form. Yay. And... like I say, the run is now going to speed up considerably. Because if I visit Cheyenne in the weapon shop now, he's going to give me the dash magic. And the dash power scales with your sun level. And as I just said, like a minute ago, mechanics in this game are not tuned for having maximum solar power. So if you, like I say, on a really clear, strong day, you can maybe get like half sunlight, and the dash can make you move a fair bit faster. With 10 sunlight, you move extremely quickly, and it's going to be the entire remainder of the run. Like, from this point on, we want to use the dash as much as possible for movement, and you move super quickly. There is a bit of a, like, risk-reward factor to that, though, because while you are dashing, you have a damage multiplier for incoming damage. Like, if you dash into an enemy or a environmental hazard, you take extra damage from it, and I'm already at the point where, like I say, most stuff at this point is going to kill me in, like, 2 hits maximum. So it's very important to like know where enemies and hazards and such are as you're moving around extremely quickly. So at this point, you know, got our powers back and going to now try and get access to the aqueduct, which is the next main dungeon, where the final of the 4 immortal siblings is awakening. Blue Dvalin, the sea ruling immortal. So there it is. So now we can move like this for the remainder of the game. Once we get through text. I'm also going to take a slight detour here, because I'm going to like sell stuff at the item shop later, but I want to make absolutely sure that my money is not going to be an issue later. So anything I can sell now will give me some more money to rely on later, and that is not the tower, so I can sell it. So yeah, I didn't hit the like 4% chance to get the correct tarot card to be able to skip a boss later. What a shame. I've only had that once, and then I choked the run before I reached the relevant point, and I was so... it's the worst I've ever felt at losing a run. Alright, so before I go into the aqueduct, I'm going to come down here and destroy this dark root. This screen has a couple of different states that it can be in, and destroying this dark root is the flag to put it in a different state where the enemies on screen are going to be a bit different, and I'm now going to use this screen as a pseudo farming point before I go on. I'm going to keep re-entering the screen and killing a mummy over and over until I get a... yeah, until I get the next level up. And then I'm going to get 2 more kills afterwards, and then I'm going to progress, and that should put me on correct EXP pace for the next scenario of the game. So switch to Sol here. I need to have the sun off because like the undead die in direct contact with the sunlight, and I want the EXP. You do not get the EXP for kills where they just die to environmental damage. So as soon as I get the level up, I get 2 more kills, and then I progress on. I'm going to get the level up either on this kill or the next kill. So it should be this kill that I get the level up. Hello? Really? Okay, whatever. I'm bad at counting. Like, when I'm actually, like, you know, in the middle of a run, I don't pay attention to, like, how many of stuff I'm doing. I just, like, react to events, you know? You know how it is. Hello? Alright. Transform. So we need to go back to the previous 3 dungeons now to get access to the aqueduct. The door is locked and it's sealed by 3 different tarot cards that we need to get in fixed spots. And now that we have a wider array of enchantments, we can do a bit of puzzle solving. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Going to now go back to the pile driver screen and destroy all 4 of the dark roots that are there, and that will disable them spawning on this screen for the rest of the game, which is convenient because this is going to be like a central thoroughfare for the rest of the game. I hate when you don't get the 2 kills and single slash there. Go back to Dark City, and now this is just going to be a very movement-heavy part of the run, and there's a lot of screens here where if you like dash into a cliff, you just die on the spot, so I'm going to try not to do that. But yeah, this is a pure movement spot. If there are any messages that you have, now is a very good time to jump in.
Sure thing. We have $15 from Nikosar and Dalicat and their cowardly cat. Good luck with the run, Drakodan. It's been great seeing the game in action. Huge respect for your appropriate use of PPE. I wonder if Saboteur could avoid taking that sunlight damage if he also had Aussie Strength sunscreen.
Yes, you can. That's what it's for in the game. So yeah, you can like dash off the cliffs in those rooms and you die instantly, so yeah, don't do that. Going to now need to use 4 elemental enchants to do this puzzle here. We need to use Earth to erase this block, switch to Cloud to move these next blocks around. Spear to move by 2 blocks each. Back to Sword. Back to Spear. Back to Sword. Why did I do that? Alright. I don't know why I switched back to Sword there. So I'm gonna, thankfully, you can just, you know, refill your energy if you mess up. Easy game. Easy game. Okay, I need Flame to start that. Like, I was self-commentating the actions that I was doing, and I still did the wrong action. Like, what am I doing? That's definitely correct. What am I doing? Like, that's just, this is just, like, this isn't even choking. This is just inexplicable.
That's just the Australian air.
Yeah, we'll blend that. We'll blend
Yep.
that, yeah.
The humidity.
Yeah, keep the spear on. There you go. There you go. Switch to Frost. There you go. Hopefully I haven't taken too long so that my solar nuts are still usable. Yes, good. Because, yeah, your items are perishable in this game. Like, your fruits and such, like, they have a lifespan. So if you take too long, you can end up not really having the resources you need to, like, use items at important times.
That's so real.
And they perish faster the stronger the sunlight is. So since we play, like, with max sunlight, there's... The end game route is, like, I'm going to do a shop after the next dungeon, and I need to hold on to a bunch of items until, like, up to and including the last boss. And... the timing is pretty strict. Like, you need to play on basically, like, world record tier pace in order for your items to survive long enough to be usable all the way into the final dungeon. Oof, close. Close! But that's fine.
Yikes.
Just mouse to go through, get the tarot card here. How you doing?
Yeah, chilling.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Pretty good?
Yep. It's great.
Alright, gonna get a couple more kills on these mummies before I leave in order to remain on my EXP route. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Now use dash to move this, and the mummies will now respawn after this room transition in the previous room. Replace Sol with Dark and Mouse with Dynamite, and then warp out. There we go. I don't need to heal. Yeah, it's fine. You can take a lot of damage on the like following section, but I'm just not gonna take a lot of damage. It's fine. Just dash through here. You need to use dynamite on a specific wall to reveal a hidden passage to where the final tarot card that I need is. Like, I'll just get hit for 7 rather than like 27. It's fine. Like, yeah, this health is fine because I can just heal this off later. Going to replace dynamite with dark before I warp out. And now this is go mode for going straight to the aqueduct, the next dungeon. So I'm just going to run straight back through. Gonna make sure to not run straight into this mummy here that immediately explodes. It's a rite of passage that everyone dies to that at least once. Because, like, you just run, you just go, and you're not even thinking about, oh, there's a hazard here. Like, the next guy who started learning this route properly after me, like, when he got to this point in learning, I was like, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it, and then he ran straight into the mummy and died. I was like, yep, I did that. Okay, so we're in the aqueduct now, and then, like, Ringo, our, like, father betrayed us, and it's like, oh, he's actually possessed, like, being controlled by the main villain, Black Dying, which you don't quite know yet, but it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be punctuated by another GBA scream. Raiko's crowning moment, again. Another GBA scream.
These more of it, honestly.
It does, yeah. Maybe it should be, like, a stream alert or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Alright, so here are octopi. They're like the... Oh, nice, another death. Wait. That was not really supposed to happen, but I can avoid it by actually moving correctly this time. There you go. Easy. Easy game. My money should still be fine after the next save and reset, especially. I just can't, like, die again. But this is a planned spot for taking a full refill, so this should be fine. I need to switch to Black Django here. I'm also going to put my armor back on now and put my strength points in. So now I have body armor on, increasing my defense. And even now, most stuff is going to kill me in like 2 hits, even with extra defense. I'm going to move in a specific way here to cluster these skeletons up. Good, they're all going in one direction. Yeah, Dying was right. The vampire powers are sick. You should just use them all the time. Okay, dash through, get a full refill before going into Valin. So this boss fight is massively RNG intensive. Like, if you're on like world record pace, you can easily lose a run here. Not because it's a risky fight, but there you go. But just because the RNG swing here is so massive. The fight is always going to start with 2 tentacles spawning in random positions around the room. And if they spawn together, you can get a really fast fight. If they don't spawn together, you won't get a fast fight. And they can spawn like anywhere, so it's not very likely to be able to get the double. So I'm going to wait until the fight is starting to switch to Flame Enchant so that I can react more quickly to, because like there's going to be like bubbling of where they're going to emerge. I'm going to be able to see that while I'm switching my enchant so that I can reach them a bit more quickly and at least try and get 5 swings before I need to evade, which even if I don't get the double, that will let me get a slightly more favorable second cycle, even if it's like bad RNG. But we'll just see what happens. And yeah, so like I say, most stuff in this fight will kill me in 2 hits. Some stuff kills me in 1 hit in this fight. Oh my god, yes! That is excellent. Oh, that's not excellent though. So she's far away, so I need to switch to the coffin, switch to black, go into sleeping, and fireball. That's 1 of 2 times in the run that you can use sleeping magic, and that one is like, that's dependent on RNG, because she's not always far away there. Okay, so I'm gonna swap out, use a solar leaf to leave. Going to go back to town, and now I'm going to use the clock tower to reset the clock. It's slightly more favorable than doing a save and reset. I say slightly, it's actually considerably faster to do this rather than do a save and reset. Just move it to the next month. That automatically puts it on the next full moon date. Gonna pray that I have enough money now, because honestly my economy situation has been tragic the whole run. I got a really bad like set of rolls on interest at the start of the game, and that can be punishing because I need to now buy. Okay, this might be sketch. Just enough. This is my inventory for the rest of the game now. I had just enough money to afford everything that I need. So at least this is good information on, hey, if you have like terrible RNG on rolls, and if you take deaths, you can still kind of afford to complete the run if you play well. Like, that's good information to have. Set up the pile driver for this purification. So, yeah. Like I say, purifications by this point, they are dangerous. Like, the immortals do fight back and they can kill you very quickly. And I have the armor on and I could still die very quickly if I don't pay attention here. Gonna move around in circles to bait the bubbles that are about to start coming out. Okay, that's a good purification at least. Yeah, that one can go wrong very easily. Like, you don't have, like, much iframe time at all when you get hit, so the bubble streams, they split when they hit you. You can end up just getting, like, pseudo, like, stun-locked if the bubbles just split awkwardly and the stream keeps coming and hitting you. You can get hit, like, 3-4 times in quick succession, and you can die much more easily than it seems on that Purify. So coming now into the final, like, main dungeon of the game, Spiral Tower, and this is also, thankfully, in my opinion, although it's also an objective fact, this is the most interesting and engaging dungeon in the game, both to play and to, like, spectate. So I'm going to use both of the siblings here, Django and Sabata. Need to use Sabata using no sunlight to open his half of Spiral Tower, then switch to sunlight for Django. And this is going to be like a common theme throughout Spiral Tower, that like you need to be swapping between the characters, between floors, and be using like different sun setups for different parts of the tower. I'm also going to need to pass a black slime on the corner here, where it's the possible RNG factor of moving 2 pixels on the frame that I pass it. Thankfully I didn't hit it. You can transform into a bat to fly across this gap, but I've like timed it and it's about as fast to just shimmy along as Red Django, because you need to like menu to put on the bat transform and then do the animations for transforming and such. It doesn't wash out as being substantially faster to use the bat transformation there. I'm going to switch to Spear here so that I can unlock a door for Sabata downstairs. Please. There we go. Thankfully, this is cutscene time, so the black slimes do not hit you while you're in the middle of a cutscene, and then the room resets, so there's no slimes anymore. I'm going to switch to Sabata and use a speed nut as soon as I gain control. This is going to give Sabata 30 seconds of movement speed, which is very good for Sabata, because his agility, his stats are pretty good, but he's also wearing extremely heavy armor, so that massively slows him down. It saves a pretty considerable amount of time to have 60 seconds of movement speed buff with Sabata. And just be zero shifting through enemies here. Like Django has the dash and Sabata has the zero shift, which like you can see it's like a pseudo teleport in a fixed direction. Gonna bait this gargoyle here to fly towards the corner so that I can safely shimmy along the wall and do this floor panel so that Django can progress. And now the black slime that's on the corner, as long as I just hold right while I'm gaining control here and I have the armor on, you will always dodge the slime here. As long as you like don't dash, like as long as you have the armor on, you will always dodge the slime there, which is very nice. I'm gonna grab a health item here, and I'm also going to now put on Earth. So these cockatrices are extremely threatening. But, oh, that's really bad actually. Yeah, that guy can randomly decide to, like, fly around and be uncooperative, but you really want the experience from these things. These are worth tons of experience each. I'm gonna I'm gonna still go back and kill these. It's not a good idea for me to go on without the EXP from these. I'm going to come into a mini-boss here now where I'm going to restore some energy first, then I'm going to transform into Black Django for this. Use a little more. There we go. Right. So put Soul back on over Earth, put in my stat points. I'm going to need to use Dark with Black Django. I'm going to need to get into a specific position here and then do a dodge. That was a optimal fight. Good. Now just move on. Okay, gonna try and hit this ghost that's gonna come towards me. Those are the worst enemies in the game, because when they hit you, they give you a curse which scrambles your controls randomly. Like, they scramble your controls in a different way every time they hit you. So it's like, you may as well just put down the controller for like 30 seconds if that happens. It's, I'm terrible at handling the scrambled controls. I also need to use now the second speed nut with Sabata. Destroy an enemy on a floor panel here so that Django can progress. And go back indoors. I'm not wasting energy on zero shifting right now for movement speed because it's not a very productive use of the energy to do it while I have the movement speed buff. I'm going to wait until like the next visits with Sabata where I don't have increased movement speed. You just get more mileage out of using zero shift then. I will use it here. Okay, full energy is good. I'm going to need it for the next puzzle after this outdoor puzzle that Django needs to do. Please. I was like a pixel off there, dude. Come on. Okay, good. So I'm going to use Rising Sun for the next puzzle, which is a power that I got when I got my solar powers back. There's not really a use for it in the run per se, but I can use it to skip the next puzzle and also part of a following boss fight. But it's not typically used in the run because it uses your entire energy bar to use Rising Sun. But the next puzzle is like you have to wait for an enemy to move for like 10 seconds, whereas instead you can just do this. And kill it instantly. So I'm going to need to use Black Django and Bat transformation on the next outdoor screen because I'm going to be on this moving platform that's going to go along a bunch of fire jets. And you can get knocked off completely by the flame knockback, but the bat form will never fall off the edge, so it's just a nice way to avoid dying. It would be extremely difficult to avoid dying on this screen without the bat transformation. So now I need to know a little bit of Japanese. So I'm going one spot to the south. You all can read this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So I need to go one spot to the south on the next puzzle. Well, it suggests that it's one south, but it's wrong because of the way the text is formatted. But okay, need to use a power nut here to be able to move these blocks quicker. Just let Sabata get cooked. At this point, Sabata's health is irrelevant. Like, it doesn't really matter how much environmental damage he takes. So, I had one south, and this hint panel is 2 west. So that is 2 south and 1 west, because it's inverted. Which is actually a pretty. It's actually a pretty good spot to put me in there. Cool. Now I need to hope that the Axe Plus doesn't just decide to delete me on the spot when it starts attacking me, because it can technically decide a random action when it starts attacking, and if it gives me the wrong one, I will just die. Good. It didn't decide to delete me. That's very nice. And instead, I deleted it. It's like, I've lost runs to that before. It's just, oh, I start attacking the axe, and it readies its, like, red tracking attack, which the first axe in remains used, but this one tracks you a lot faster and just kills you super quickly. Like, you can't outrun it when it tracks you. You can outrun it as Red Django when you're using dash, but it's faster to kill that thing with Black Django, and Black Django can't use dash. So I'm pulling the light back a bit here because I'm going to use these solar walkways. These only appear when the sun gauge is at 8 or lower. I don't need to do that, but I do need to put on a spread of these. And I need to hope that these ghosts are actually going to cooperate. Like I say, these things, every time they touch you, they randomly scramble your controls. That was close. And they move, like, very erratically, and their movements change based on your movements. Like, these things are just awful, but they are worth truckloads of experience. Okay, I'll deal with that. Didn't get a special cuddle from the ghost, that's good. Oh, I should use a power nut here. Yeah! Now I can move this quickly. Please? Alright. Move to Spear and Cloud. And back to Cloud. Use one more Cloud to push this, and then Frost to drop it on the switch. Gonna replace Frost now with Rising Sun. Yeah, that'll do. Back to Dash, so we can go out. So that's Django's side of Spiral Tower is done. Now we just need to do Sabata's side. And I need to start getting very worried about the coming boss fight, because I need to go for a very precise strat here, which, like most stuff that I've been talking about, if I mess this up, it will kill me instantly. And I don't really have a lot of resources to spare at this point. There you go. I had a little energy to spare with Sabata, but that's fine. So, this is going to be the Black Dying fight. This is similar to the fight we had with Ringo in Remains, like just the big vampire fight. But it's got two different phases. I'm going to skip most of the first phase by using Rising Sun as the fight starts, and it's going to chunk Dain for a big portion of his health. And then when he gets to half health on the first weaken phase, he's going to transition into his second form, where I am going to try to hit a very precise... I'm actually going to take a safety save here, just out of a pure abundance of caution. Not that it's going to matter a ton if I actually do miss it, but once the second phase starts, I need to try and hit a very precise pixel spot on the floor so that I can get close enough to him to avoid an attack that he's going to use and be able to just wail on him so that I can skip a cycle in the second phase. But if I misjudge the distance, then I will just die on the spot. And this is a short pixel window that I'm aiming for. Like, it's not pixel perfect like other stuff, but it's not far off pixel perfect. You will also get a choice here by Black Dain if you want to join him or not. And this is a legitimate choice. Like, you can do yes or this is no. If you choose the first text option, that's a bad ending. Like, you get a bad ending, the game ends, and you don't get a do-over. Like, that's just it. The game is over. Right, so I need to use 2 solar nuts here to restore my health, energy. Go to Sol, we get to start the fight proper now. Unfortunately, I can't use Rising Sun repeatedly because you can only, like, use it once in a given room, apparently. Like, we've tried to do that, but we just cannot get the game to allow you to use Rising Sun more than once in this fight. These will kill me in one hit if they touch me. He's gonna come at me one more time, then I'm gonna knock him into the portal. Alright, here we go. This is, if I miss this, I will die on the spot. I didn't put in my stat points. That's a problem. Still got it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Also GBA screen.
Yes, yes. Perfect. You get an extra.
The uncompressed one.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that's one of the hardest strats to hit in the run. Like, you get right up in his grill, and like I say, if you are slightly too far away, the like balls of darkness will hit you, and they kill you in one hit, no questions asked. So I'm really glad that I got that, and I needed to, like, on the spot, do my stat points before that as well. I can't believe I forgot to put in my stat points. All right, anyway. We leave the coffin, like, who cares? It's going to come back to town on its own. So we're going to go back to the pile driver screen, leave it, and do another soft reset. So we're going to reset the clock one more time to get the coffin to come back to town. Going to put it to the next full moon date, which is October 29th. Please. The hour doesn't, like, strictly matter. You just want it, again, like, nighttime, so you have access to moonbugs if you need them. But once I enter the actual final dungeon, Undead Zone, once I get beyond the first floor, I don't have access to moonbugs anyway. So at this point, the access by playing at nighttime is not super important. And so now, final purification. So there's been a pattern developing here. How many hits do you think I can take here?
1.
No, I can't take one hit. I'll die in one hit. Like everything else at this point, I will die in one hit if I get hit during this purification. So I am not taking a risk. Like, I don't care if he's going to knock the generator offline. I just do not want to die. That's not good. That's really not good. Oh. I got fully cornered there. Alright, so you can still use the moonbugs at this point, I guess. But yeah, like, I really got cornered there because I thought that I hit the 3 balls of darkness as they came out, but I apparently only hit 1, and then from there, that was just like, that snowballed really fast. Yeah, this can really happen. We used to play this safer by using Black Django for this purification. Like, if you grab an extra sunscreen, you can just use it with Black Django so that Black Django doesn't get hurt by the sunlight, and he is massively resistant to the dark damage. But it's faster to just not use Black Django here. I'd rather that didn't go offline, but it's, again, first priority here is not dying. That is not going the direction I want, but again, I don't want to die. Please cooperate, please cooperate. Brother! Alright, whatever. That dickhead, but that's the last purification.
That's 2.
Yeah, I'm good for it. I'm good for it.
There's 2 of them now in the game.
Alright. So final purification, at least. It's like, oh, we don't have to deal with any more of those. Okay, there's kind of a GBA scream here, but it's not something to be made fun of because it's a very, it's a heart-touching moment and it's an important line and such, and it's not a scream here. But you'll see.
I'm still gonna do it. Okay.
Oh, the sacrifice.
You can give me your best Ty-O, though, if you want.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh. So yeah, we're going to come now into the final dungeon of the game. So TLDR, like plot stuff at this point, we have not been successful in preventing the awakening of the ancestor piece. Like it's going to start awakening now. Like there's earthquakes happening, and it's going to, just awaken because the seals have been broken. So there we go. They're like, oh man, everything's ruined. We need to like go into the space below Spiral Tower where it is locked up, called Undead Zone, and go through a bunch of floors. This is... So I've already had a pretty rough time in this run. This is by far the hardest part of the run. So I'm definitely going to use a safety save before I get into the first boss of Undead Zone. Like everything else, like most stuff, it's context sensitive whether I can survive a hit in some of these fights. In some cases I can, in some cases I can't. And there's going to be like a lot of like movement, puzzle solving and such, but this is like a back-to-back gauntlet of floors where there's like a boss on each floor, and these are pretty threatening, and I need to move quickly so that my items will not spoil. And I can't really take deaths during the boss fights, otherwise I will waste the resources that I have. So, like, yeah, this is a very tough part of the run, and it really demands that I play pretty clean here and don't make a lot of mistakes.
True.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we go straight back. Sabata's going to open up Undead Zone for us here. So the first boss is going to be the Sandworm, which is an RNG nightmare. And this is the one that I really would have liked the tarot card, the Tower, for. Because the Tower deals fixed damage to every object on screen, including you. And it deals enough damage to one-shot you, but if you combine it with another item called a Bear Nut, it neutralizes the damage to you, and instead damages everything else on screen. And the Sandworm has like 8 different segments that all get hit, and it deals enough damage to one-shot the Sandworm. But unfortunately I don't have it, so I need to do the fight normally. So here is floor 1 of Undead Zone. Gonna knock on the wall to distract these guys. Like, how did he not round the corner yet? What an idiot. Like, bro, like, just walk around the corner. Alright. I'm gonna destroy these cacti in a specific pattern so I can get through and not get hit, ideally. Yeah, that's the other thing. I have very limited healing items from this point on. And I need, oh yeah, I need Frost, Cloud, and Dynamite, so that's fine. Use Dynamite here so that this puzzle will solve itself. Yeah, once I get past the first floor, I don't have access to healing, and I don't have many healing items. Okay, don't get seen on that screen. Easy. Push this with Cloud and Spear, and run around, switch to Sword, and drop it with Frost. Gonna need to use like 8 or lower sun here because I need to go across the solar walkway. Again, this doesn't appear if the sun is higher than 8. Get back hits there to stun those so that I can run past them without being seen. Need to transform into bat form here to get this key. Please, there we go. Another solar walkway here that I need 8 or less sun for. Get the key here, it's behind this block. And now I can go into Sandworm, so I am 100% going to take a safety save before this fight. I don't even care. Like, this is... I hate this fight. Like I say, it's an RNG nightmare. So, the Sandworm is going to burrow around randomly underground. It can, like, move wherever it wants, fire rocks whenever it wants. If it moves onto me and fires a rock, it will one-shot me. And it is completely random and borderline unreactable. So, hence the safety save. So, here we go. Lottery time. Okay, should be good. Like, literally, why? Okay, this is messy as hell, but I'm alive, and I'm going to use one of my only healing items here. Thanks, game. I might have to pick up another healing item in the next floor. They're like, I hate this thing. Okay, floor 1, we're good. This dungeon is so hard. Gonna refill completely on the solar station here. So this is like all the energy that I'm draining from the solar station there. This is like most of the resources that I'm relying on for the rest of the run from this point on. Need to rearrange my enchants. I need flame, earth, and dynamite for this floor. Gonna use dynamite here on this. Yeah, normally the timing to get all these torches in time is extremely tight, but Rafi from the community had the idea to use dynamite on the first torch, which makes this a complete freebie. Thanks, Rafi. Thanks, honestly, to everyone in the Boktai community who has put in so much work to make this a runnable game. It's like the only reason I'm like enabled to come here and do this showcase. I will definitely do like shout outs after I'm done, but suffice it to say I am like standing on the shoulders of giants over here. More solar walkways, so I need to get away. Alright. use dynamite to... I'm going to be safe and make sure I don't get hit there. I wasn't confident about the distance there. Need this armor here. So, this is the Garb of Darkness, which I'm going to put my stat points in and put the Garb on. It's lighter and sturdier than the leather armor that I had, and it will also have the effect on the final boss to increase my element dark damage by 50%, which I'm going to be using element dark on the last boss, so it massively increases your damage output. And you already have an element dark damage buff from playing at nighttime as well. Alright, I'm going to YOLO and not take a safety save for Lich, but this is a more dangerous fight than Sandworm, so let's see. Because I have limited visibility here. Okay. Thankfully, that's why I picked this up. That, I mean, in my opinion, that went straight through my hitbox, but it didn't hit me apparently, so I'll take it. Alright, where are these going? I can at least, like, buffer with...
Whoa.
Yeah, the clouds will get you. The clouds will get you. I think I at least get my, like, healing items back here. Yeah, that's fine. But I am going to be, like, draining through the bank balance, so I am going to... I guess I am going to safety save. This is... Yeah. This fight can be really bad news. I'm just fully serious mode this one. It's not a very friendly movement. But that's fine. Gonna refuel now. Yeah. Okay, that was a much better fight. Why couldn't I have gotten that first try? Oh well. Yeah, Lich is a really erratic fight, and as you saw, like the lightning balls will kill you in 2 hits, and the thunder clouds will kill you in 1 hit from full health. Like, doesn't matter how much health you have, they kill you from full. It's a fun fight. All right, floor 3. This one doesn't get much easier. So this is like an ice-based floor. Where, please, get this. All right. This is also the only part of the run where we're going to do like a quote-unquote skip. You can use dynamite to skip part of an intended puzzle here. Okay, there we go. After a couple of rooms from now, we're going to move into a big like icy room where I'm going to be able to stand in a specific spot and use getting knocked back from a dynamite explosion to get into a position where I can skip part of the dungeon by going to the solution earlier than intended. So we're going to set up dynamite here, pull the sun away so that I'll take less recoil damage from this. And knock the spear. So you're supposed to do like another puzzle in the dungeon in order to force a block to spawn in the middle of there, so you can freely move into this spot. But by using the dynamite knockback, we can skip that, thankfully. Very nice. And now we just move into the next boss, the Serpent. Although on the next screen here, I'm going to need to delay my movement by a second, so I hopefully don't get hit by the Centipede. Good. I need all the health that I can get here. And that thing does move like pseudo randomly, so having a slightly more favorable time with it is very nice. Okay, get energy. Okay, hopefully my energy is going to be fine once I reach the next floor. Yeah, this is the fine config. So the Serpent is... This fight has actually gotten more manageable, even though we don't use the spear anymore, so you have shorter range weapons. But we recently discovered that by using the dynamite... It's going away, though. You can force this thing to jump at you, which skips a lot of the intended, like, messing around with mechanics in this fight. Also, like all the other sheer cliffs in this game, there's no guardrails here. If I brush against the sides, I will fall into the water and instantly die. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm not over there. I can't. I'm going to need to use a... Yeah. Hopefully this dynamite is going to go off before he surfaces for next attack. Ah, that's a really bad position for him to do that from as well. What do I do here? Okay, that's fine. Jump here. Dude, where are you going? Oh my god. I hate that. At least I didn't die, though. So that's, like, you do have some control over where it jumps based on, like, your position, but sometimes it just does whatever it wants. And, like, there's no sense to, like, where it jumps sometimes. You can one-cycle that fight, rather than, like, three-cycle it as I got there, but it's not exactly consistent. So that's another source of, like, if you get to this point on, like, absolutely unreal pace, you can potentially lose your whole lead on that fight just because it chooses to not cooperate and it just jumps around in no man's land. But I didn't die. That's the most important thing. Okay, final full-fledged floor here, where this is going to be a fire-based floor. Rapidly running out of energy. I sure hope I'm not going to need many more refills after this. That would be very hard to deal with. Need to use that, and I'm going to put my remaining points in. So I'm at 98 strength now. My strength is almost maxed here. Cloud, earth, and frost. Yep. Move this block like this. Destroy this stone block. Move this. Switch to earth and sword. Put dash on. So we get access to the switch. I'm going to tuck on the wall here so that this thing will just pass by me harmlessly. Same with this one. And now this is the only intended use of sleeping magic in this run. This puzzle is not supposed to be solvable without the gun del sol. But by using the coffin elephant, just extinguish that, switch, and you can fire a shot into the switch on the right side. I'm a little too low. There we go. So, assuming you don't get the far distance on Dvalin where I needed to transform to finish that fight in the aqueduct, that's the only intended use of sleeping magic in the entire run. Gonna just wait till the clay golem moves through that. I'm also going to now see what I get for some refills. Kinda. That's sketchy, but this is why I have items to be able to restore energy with as well. Okay, so with my health as it is now, I can survive precisely one hit on the Lich Plus, and that is going to be an intended damage boost to get into a specific position. I guess, again, as is the tradition, I guess I'm just going to take another safety save before I go into this fight. Because my resources are very low at this point, and I can, if you die too much on this fight, you can put yourself into a, well, how do I finish the run sort of position, when you just don't have the resources. So, just a complete safety save here. Try and get a little spurt off the soul station here. I will just refill with soul notes once I get low. So I'm going to need to get in a very specific spot here. So that's an intended damage boost, so that it will put me in the correct position, so that the rotating flame attack now will not hit me. There's a very narrow spot where this will go around me instead of hit me. The flames one-shot you if they hit you, by the way. And so I'm not going to die to that and instead get to wail on him. This attack is going to end just now, which I need to react to. Okay. Okay, that was a pretty good Lich Plus. At least there was one fight in this dungeon that went well. Put in my last stat point. I need to equip Dark over that. Yep. And leave. And this is go mode for finishing the entire game now. Oh, actually, I lied. No, it's not go mode because I want to use these solar nuts to at least fill my energy out. All right. So coming into the last floor of the dungeon now. And this is coming up to the final boss. So some, like, thematic stuff. I mentioned, like, the 4 immortals that we've been dealing with for the game is, like, White Daenerys, Red Durthor, Blue Dvalin, and Black Dain. If you are familiar with your Norse mythology, they are the 4 stags that like nibble on the world tree Yggdrasil. And if you know your Norse mythology, and this game has been about like preventing the awakening of a big doomsday beast, you might already know what the final boss of the run is going to be. We'll see as we get into the final boss, but like, yeah, this is a good like mythology check for people. This centipede can be trouble, but okay, good. That's nice. Just stealing myself for the final boss here. Like, this final fight is not supposed to be a big issue, but I've been having some pretty strange issues with this fight lately. But it is really supposed to be actually quite a trivial fight, but we'll see how it goes. Need 8 or less because I need to use one more solar walkway here. Like, this solar walkway here is just here to make sure that you have access to sunlight, because you cannot beat the final boss without using sunlight. This thing is physically immune to all damage if the sun is not out, so Otenko is going to act as a conduit to let the sunlight get down here so that we can actually damage this thing. So the final boss of this fight is the giant snake Jormungand. That is going to, like, devour the world. And I'm going to need to apply some sunscreen for this in-game, because I'm going to use Black Django, who dies in sunlight. So final actions of item usage for the run: use the tomato juice to fill up and use sunscreen. I now have 60 seconds to kill this thing before my sunscreen runs out. Please do not miss that. Get a few more hits for safety. Please. All right. Oh, that's not enough. Okay, I'm gonna... Easy. Just risk dying right at the end, but just do it in a controlled manner so that you don't die. That's fine. So this isn't timed quite yet. There's going to be like one final sequence where like Django once again is going to get glomped, and then we're going to need to burn Jormungand from the inside, where it's like a final quick time event of, oh, are you sure you have sunlight? Because you have 10 seconds to burn this thing from the inside or you die. And I don't think it's a bad ending if that happens, like dying, but you definitely die if you don't finish Jormungand in the 10 seconds. So we just get a cutscene of the seals being reforged, and Jormungand's going to get chained again, and then Otenko is going to give 10 seconds to burn Jormungand from the inside, which again, if you have max sunlight, the game is not tuned for that at all. You kill Jormungand in a couple of seconds, so time is going to be when Jormungand's health bar reaches 0 here, which is going to be in the matter of like 2 seconds from when the event starts. And so... time. At least it was underestimate. That was hairy, but I'm really glad that it was underestimate at least. And I'm really glad to have had the opportunity to come here and do this. Like I say, I procrastinated over learning this game for a long time, but man, I'm really grateful to have been given the opportunity to showcase this series' first like major marathon debut. Like, I'm really proud of the community for this game. Like, please check out the Boktai speedrunning Discord if you're interested. Thank you, like Rafi, Doc, Shanef, Koa, for all your help. The couple of Japanese runners who are working on this game currently, like Hiko, Kanbi, MT. Thank you guys very much for all the support, and good luck to everyone who's playing this game. Thank you guys for being here and supporting me.
No problem at all.
Thanks everyone at ASM for the support and the hype. Like, love you guys. I'm really enjoying being here, so hopefully this isn't going to be the only time I come down here.
Thank you, Draco.
I'll try. It's also not going to be the only time you see me this week. If the schedule goes to plan, you're going to have to see me one more time for Sonic Adventure 2, and it's probably going to be even worse than this run, so sorry about that. But yeah, thank you guys very much, and I'll let you guys get set up for the next game. Have yourselves a great day.
good job on the run, Drakodan. We have a $15 donation from Cavett saying, woo wee woo wee woo.
the unmute button? Ah, okay, all good. Still need... No, not right now anyway. Yep. So just hit the mute again. Alright, AusSpeedrun 2024, I am Megaslayer321A, and we are just about ready for our Borderlands 2 speedrun with Atomic Caleb. Caleb, if you're ready, take us away.